Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the podcast called The Dictionary. Okay, let us do it. I said that all of the words in the last episode were Bible related, but we do have a couple more in this episode. But they are separated by our first word, which is a prefix, which is bibli or biblio, B-I-B-L-I. Or you could just add no. So this is, it just means book, as in bibliology, which I think we are probably going to see soon, in this episode, bibliology. There we go. We are now going to move on to biblical. It is an adjective from 1756, one of relating to or being in accord with the Bible. Number 2, suggestive of the Bible or Bible times. Biblically is an adverb. You have no idea how much energy it takes for me not to say Bibble instead of Bible. I just think it's a funny way to say it. All right, let's see. Next we have biblicism. It is a noun often capitalized from 1850. Adherence to the letter of the Bible. Biblicist is a noun, also often capitalized. So that is somebody or the idea of taking everything literally from the Bible. I think that is what it's saying. Next we have bibliographer, noun from 1775. 1, an expert in bibliography. Number 2, a compiler of bibliographies. This prefix, biblio, is going to be in almost all of the rest of the words in this episode. Next, we have bibliography. It is a noun from 1802. 1, the history, identification, or description of writings or publications. 2a, a list often with descriptive or critical notes of writings relating to a particular subject, period, or author. 1b, a list of works written by an author or printed by a publishing house. Number 3, the works or a list of the works referred to in a text or consulted by the author in its production. Bibliographic or bibliographical are adjectives, and bibliographically is a mouthful and an adverb. Bibliographically. Let's see, this is from, Greek. It means the copying of books. From we can skip that part. Okay, next is bibliolater. It's got the biblio prefix and then later. It is a noun from 1847. By the way, we are at the top of page 119. I mentioned previously that the previous page was divided weirdly because of that big chart. So there were only 3 episodes on that page. And so this first episode going on to 119 has part of the end of 118. Sorry. Okay, bibliolater, number 1. Oh, it's a noun from 1847. 1 having excessive reverence for the letter of the Bible. Number 2, 1 overly devoted to books. I don't think you have to say overly devoted. They could just be very devoted. I mean, I know some people who love their books, and they would be, I guess, bibliolaters. Now, let's see. Bibliolatrous is an adjective, and bibliolatry is a noun. So bibliolatry is something that a bibliolater is taking part of. Next, we have bibliology. It is a noun from 1806. It sounds like all of these words are gibberish now. 1, the history and science of books as physical objects. Bibliography is a synonym. Number 2, often capitalized, the study of the theological doctrine of the Bible. So sometimes these words, it looks like they have to deal with the Bible, and sometimes they just deal with books in general. Next, we have bibliomania. It is a noun from 1734. Extreme preoccupation with collecting books. 1 would be a bibliolater. And bibliomaniac is a noun or an adjective. And bibliomaniacal, ooh, sounds evil. That is an adjective. This is from bibli plus mani, which means mania. That is that. Now we have bibliopagy. Bibliopagy, noun from circa 1859. The art of binding books. That is an art. Bibliopegic, bibliopechic. Bibliopechic? Is that how you say that word? That is an adjective, and bibliopegist. Bibliopegist is a noun. And, this is from the prefix bibli, Greek, plus pegninai, which means to fasten together. So I guess if you ever see apogee or something similar to that, it might be related to fastening something together. I don't know. There's more at the word pact, P-A-C-T. Next we have bibliophile. I think this is the third word about people who love books. It is a noun from 1824. A lover of books, especially for qualities of format. Also a book collector. So maybe bibliolater is somebody who's overly devoted to books. But, I mean, I don't know. That seems odd. Okay, where were we? Bibliophile. Bibliophilic is an adjective, and bibliophilism is a noun, and bibliophily is a noun. I just think these words are funny after you say them over and over again. Next we have bibliopole. It is, or bibliopolist. Woo, that's a fun one. This is a noun from 1775. A dealer, especially in rare or curious books. This is Latin bibliopola, which means bookseller, from the Greek bibliopolis, which is from bibli plus polin, which means to sell. Polin is to sell. So they sell books. Next we have bibliotheca. And I was reading through these. This one threw me for a loop. Bibliotheca. Biblio, T-H-E-C-A. It is a noun from circa 1824. 1, a collection of books. Number 2, a list of books. Bibliothekal is an adjective. Bibliotheca. It's just that word just doesn't seem right to me. So this is from bibliotheki, which is the Greek, which is bibli plus theki. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced, although I have no idea. Theki or thek means case. It is akin to the Greek word tithanai, which means to put or place. Next we have bibliotherapy. This is a noun from 1919. The use of reading materials for help in solving personal problems or for psychiatric therapy. Also, the reading materials so used. Next we have bibulous, B-I-B-U-L-O-U-S. It is an adjective from 1675. 1, highly absorbent, bibulous. Number 2, fond of alcoholic beverages. That's related to those bibber words I think we read a couple episodes ago, or a few episodes ago. Now we have 2b, of relating to or marked by the consumption of alcoholic beverages. Bibulous. Bibulously is an adverb, and bibulousness is a noun. Let's see, this is from the Latin bibulus, which is from the verb bibere, which means to drink, and there's more at the word potable. Now we have bicameral, B-I-C-A-M-E-R-A-L. It is an adjective from 1856, having, consisting of, or based on 2 legislative chambers, as in a bicameral legislature. Bicameralism is a noun. I wanted this to be related to cameras, but it's not. Sort of is. This is from the bi prefix plus the Latin word camera, which means chamber, and there's more at the word chamber. So that is interesting because I guess if you think about it, a camera that we think of, a camera that you take out in the world to take pictures, or even a phone camera, it is a chamber. It holds, it is literally a chamber to hold the components to take the pictures, but then it is a chamber to hold the picture. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't think I ever learned about what the etymology of camera was. Camera. Next, we have bicarb, B-I-C-A-R-B. It is a noun from 1922, and we just have the synonym sodium bicarbonate or bicarbonate. Bicarbonate is our next word. It is a noun from 1814, an acid carbonate. I think both are okay. And then lastly, we have bicarbonate of soda or bicarbonate of soda, 3 separate words from 1814. And again, we just have the synonym sodium bicarbonate. There were so many good words in this episode. Which one are we going to pick? I want to pick something that I didn't know, like bibliolater, I didn't know, bibliotheca, I didn't know. There were some other ones too. Now I don't want to reread the definitions, but you know what? I'm gonna pick bibulus as the word of the episode because I like the way it sounds, and it's also related to drinking and alcohol. It's just a funny word. Bibulus is a funny word, but the other ones were really good too. All those book-related words. Go to the library, get some stuff from them. A lot of them are offering digital stuff, so you don't have to go in. You can get your books and your movies and stuff, even podcasts, I think, maybe digitally. Audio books, that's a good one. So go support your library. That has been it. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Thank you for joining me on this brand new episode of the dictionary. Oh, I think it is my friend's birthday today. Happy birthday, Jeff. All right, we have some funky words. I was just reading through them, there's some interesting words in here. So let's get to it. The first word is bicentenary. 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 It is a noun from 1872, and we just have the synonym bicentennial, which is our next word. But first, I will tell you that bicentenary is also an adjective. Did you know that? All right, now we have bicentennial. It is a noun from 1883, a 200th anniversary or its celebration. Bicentennial is also an adjective. Let's see. So I think my sister was born in the year of the bicentennial of America, 1976. What is is it a tricentennial? Is the 300th anniversary? I don't know. Probably. So maybe I'll still be around. I will be 96 years old in the tricentennial of America. Next, we have bicep. It is a noun from 1939, and we have the A definition for the word biceps with an S at the end as the synonym. That is our next word. It just says it's a back formation of the word biceps. So biceps is next. It is a noun from 1634. A muscle having 2 heads as A, the large flexor muscle of the front of the upper arm. B, the large flexor muscle of the back of the upper leg. Oh, there's biceps in the leg too? I didn't know that. Whoa, that's cool. This is from New Latin bicipit, which is a prefix, or biceps. Probably actually the C, I think, is a k sound. So is it biceps? That is from Latin. It means 2-headed, which is from bi plus capit, or caput, which means head, and there's more at the word head. And what did I just learn today? Cephalopods. Those are octopus and squids and cuttlefish. Cephalopod means head and foot. So I guess, where was I? This is not, I think ceph, C-E-P-H, means head in some language. I thought it would have been Latin, but this is a little bit different. Because their heads and their feet are connected, they don't have a torso like we do. They are just all connected together. That's where the name cephalopod comes from. But we are not in the C's. We are in the B's. So that is bicep. We actually have some dumbbells. I should go do some bicep workouts and other things. Also, you got to work on the triceps. You don't want to be uneven. All right, now we have biceps brachii. Biceps is the first word. Second word is brachii. It is a noun from circa 1860, and we have the A definition again for the word biceps. This is from New Latin, literally means biceps of the arm. So specifically, if you're talking about the biceps in your arm, they are the biceps brachii. And the next word is biceps femoris, which is the B definition for the word biceps, which are the biceps of the femur. So would then the other side of your femur be the triceps? I don't think so. No, those are the quads because there's 4 of them, I think. We'll get there eventually. Biceps femoris is also from 1860, by the way, a noun. Now we have bichloride of mercury, 3 words. Bichloride is BICHLORIDE. It is from 1810. Synonym is mercuric chloride. Next we have, this is a fun word to say, bichon frise. Bichon frise. First word, BICHON. Second word, FRISE. It is a noun from 1966. Any of a breed of small, sturdy dogs of Mediterranean origin having a thick, wavy white coat. So this is a modified of the French bichon à poil frisé, something like that, which means curly-haired lapdog. Next we have bichromate. 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 It is a noun from 1836. A dichromate, especially of sodium or potassium. Bichromated is an adjective. Next is bichrome, adjective from 1921, and it just means two-colored. So if something's two-colored, you could say it's bichrome. Now we have bicipital, BICIPITAL, adjective from 1646, of relating to or being a biceps. Bicipital. Next, we have the word bicker, BICKER. It is the first form noun from the 14th century. 1. Petulant quarreling. Synonym is altercation. Number 2. A sound of or as if of bickering. Now we have the second form of bicker. It is a verb from the 15th century. Looking ahead, I think it's just intransitive. Number 1, to engage in a petulant or petty quarrel, as in bickering over money. Oh, that is terrible. You should not bicker over money. It's not worth it. 2A, to move with a rapidly repeated noise, as in a bickering stream. Now we have 2B. Synonyms are quiver and flicker. Bickerer is a noun. Now we have bicoastal, adjective from 1972, of or relating to or living or working on both the east and west coasts of the U.S., as in a bicoastal couple. Do other countries use this word? Other countries that have coasts on both sides? I'm not sure. Yeah, but it's definitely a thing in America. Now we have bicolored, adjective from circa 1843, and it just means two-colored, just like that word bichrome. Which one is bicolored is from the 1800s, and bichrome is from the 1900s, so maybe bichrome is a more acceptable word to use, possibly. Bicolor is also a noun. Next, we have bicomponent. It is an adjective from 1962, being a fiber made of two polymers having slightly different physical properties so that the fiber has a permanent crimp and fabrics made from it have inherent bulk and stretchability. Next is biconcave, adjective from 1833. Concave on both sides. Biconcavity is a noun. Next is biconditional. It is a noun from 1940, a relation between two propositions that is true only when both propositions are simultaneously true or false. And then it says to see the truth table. So there is a table called the truth table near the end of the book. What is a truth table? I'm so fascinated. I want to look ahead, but I won't. All right, next we have biconvex. It is an adjective from circa 1852, convex on both sides. Biconvexity is a noun. Next we have bicorn, BICORNE. It is a noun from 1936. And we just have the number 2 definition for the word cocked hat. So I'm assuming that's just a hat that's like slanted on somebody's head. This is from Latin bicornis, which means two-horned, which is from the prefix bi plus cornu, which means horn, and there's more at the word horn. So what's a cocked hat? Now we have bicultural. It is an adjective from 1840 of relating to or including two distinct cultures, as in bicultural education. Biculturalism is a noun. Next we have bicuspid. It is the first form adjective from circa 1839, having or ending in 2 points, as in bicuspid teeth. I can never keep my teeth straight. Well, that phrase came out way differently than I meant it to. My teeth are straight, luckily. I've never had, what do you call them? Braces? I know the canines, and I know the molars, but I always get confused about the other ones, which I think is really stupid. I should know my teeth, right? All right, let's see. And this is from Latin cuspid or cuspis, which means point. So that's where the name comes from, bicuspid. Next, we have the second form of bicuspid. It is a noun from 1852, a human premolar tooth. And then it says to see the tooth illustration. I'm guessing that the bicuspid, is that the one after the canine but before the molars? I don't know. Next, we have bicuspid valve. 2 words, noun from circa 1903. We have the synonym mitral valve. Or is it mitral? I think it's mitral valve. Next word is bicycle. We've got 2 forms, but they are the last for this episode. bicycle. It is a noun from 1863. A vehicle with 2 wheels, tandem, handlebars for steering, a saddle seat, and pedals by which it is propelled. Also, a stationary exercise machine that resembles such a vehicle. I love calling a bicycle a vehicle. Tandem means, in this case at least, just one's in the front and one's in the back. They're like in order. This is it's just from it's French actually. The bi prefix plus the word cycle. Now we have the second form of bicycle. It is a verb from 1869. Looks like it's only intransitive. To ride a bicycle. Bicycler is a noun, and bicyclist is also a noun. And then we have a subversion of that, bicycle shorts. 2 words, noun from 1982. Maybe this is actually the last word because they have it indented a little bit, so I thought it was part of bicycle, but no, I think this is its own thing. So that is actually the last word of the episode, bicycle shorts. Tight-fitting shorts made usually with spandex with inner lining or padding and worn chiefly by bicyclists. That is going to be it. I'm going to pick bicultural as the word of the episode because as time goes on and as we gradually become a human race, and not, various countries and races spread out. We are the human race. We are becoming more bicultural, tricultural, multicultural in general, but also there's a lot of, I really hope I'm not using the wrong words, but there's a lot of mixing of cultures, people from all different cultures getting together and having babies. And so I think that's great. I think that there's a lot of progress in the world. Maybe it's not as fast as I would like it to be, but it is absolutely there. And so let's keep it up. Let's love our fellow people. And that's all I want to say. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the dictionary. Okay, the first word is bicyclic. bicyclic. It is an adjective from circa 1909. 1. Consisting of or arranged in 2 cycles. Number 2. Containing 2 usually fused rings in the structure of the molecule. Now I want to see a picture of molecules in the shape of a bicycle. Next we have bid, B-I-D. It is the first form. I was looking at the wrong section. Bade is or bad is the past tense, I think. Bid, bidden. bade, biting, or bidding. Those are all other forms. This is a verb, if I didn't say that, from before the 12th century. It took me a while because there is so much etymology. That is a lot. Okay, 1A is obsolete. Synonyms are beseech and entreat. 1B, to issue an order to. Synonym is tell, as in, did as I was bid. 1C, to request to come. Synonym is invite. Number 2, to give expression to, as in, bade a tearful farewell. 3A, synonym is offer, usually used in the phrase to bid defiance. I offer defiance, maybe? Or I'm, okay. Now we have 3B. This is the past or past participle. It's bid. That's the form of the past. Anyway, 3B1, to offer a price, whether for payment or acceptance. 3B2, to make a bid of or in a suit at cards. Like I'm bidding this much in what do they call that? Bridge. There's other games like that you put bids in. Now we have the intransitive definition, to make a bid. Synonym is the word command. Bidder is a noun. Bid fair is a phrase that means to seem likely, as in a movie that bids fair to become a big hit. I think that's sort of an old school phrase. Do people still use that? All right, let's look at this etymology. It is partly from Middle English bidden, which is from Old English bidan, which is akin to the Old High German bitten, which means to entreat, and perhaps to the Sanskrit word badhate or badhate. I don't know how to pronounce it. That means he presses, and it's also partly from the Middle English beden, which means to offer or command, from the Old English biodan, which is akin to the Old High German biotan, which means to offer, from the Greek pinthanesthai, which means to examine, from the Sanskrit bodhi, which means enlightenment. That was a lot of stuff. Now we have the second form of bid. It is a noun from 1788. 1A, the act of one who bids. 1B, a statement of what one will give or take for something, especially an offer of a price. 1C, something offered as a bid. Number 2, an opportunity to bid. Number 3, synonym is invitation. 4A, an announcement of what a card player proposes to undertake. 4B, the amount of such a bid. 4C, a biddable bridge hand. Number 5, an attempt or effort to win, achieve, or attract, as in a bid for re-election. Now we have the third form of bid. It is an abbreviation for twice a day. Why is bid an abbreviation for twice a day, you may ask? It is because it is from the Latin bis in die, or bis in die, D-I-E. So bis in die, it means twice a day in Latin, if you couldn't figure that out. And then they just took the first letters and made it bid. Anyway, next is bid, all caps. It is an abbreviation for Bachelor of Industrial Design. Next is biddable, adjective from circa 1768. 1, easily led, taught, or controlled. Synonym is docile. Number 2, capable of being bid. Biddability is a noun and biddably is an adverb. Next is biddy, B-I-D-D-Y. Now, it's the first form, noun from 1601. We just have the 1A definition for the word hen, H-E-N, also a young chicken. Biddy, second form, noun from circa 1861. 1, a hired girl or cleaning woman. Ooh, the second one says usually disparaging. Synonym is woman, especially an elderly woman. This is not a good word to use. It is, I guess, a diminutive of the name Bridget, which seems odd and interesting. I want to know the history there. Next, we have bide. It is a verb. Other forms are bode, bided, biding. From before the 12th century, first is transitive verbs. 1, to wait for, used chiefly in the phrase bide one's time. Number 2 is archaic. Synonym is withstand, as in, 2 men might bide the winter storm. That is a quote from W.C. Bryant. Number 3 is chiefly dialect. To put up with. Synonym is tolerate. Now we have the intransitive verbs. 1, to continue in a state or condition. Number 2, to wait a while. Synonym is tarry, T-A-R-R-Y. Or would it be tarry? Probably tarry. Number 3, to continue in a place. Synonym is sojourn. Bider is a noun. Let's see, this is from Old English bidon, which is akin to the Old High German beitan, which means to wait, from the Latin verb fidere, which means to trust, from Greek pisthestai, which means to believe. Now we have, this is an appropriate one given our time right now, bidet. This has come up a lot. When you run out of toilet paper, what do you use? Well, if you have a bidet, I guess you can use that, but you still need a poop towel, right? Or you got to have a towel that you're going to be willing to wipe your wet butt with. Hopefully it's clean, but, it's not a clean area. And make sure you don't use that towel for your face. That's gross. Okay, bidet, B-I-D-E-T. It is a noun from 1766. A bathroom fixture used especially for bathing the external genitals and the anal region. I honestly didn't even think ahead about what this definition would say, and I just read it, and I sort of shocked myself. But yeah, that is what it is. This is French. It means, you want to take a guess? It means small horse. Bidet, from Middle French, from the verb bider, probably not pronounced that way, which means to trot. Now that's a story. How did that word go to become a bidet as we think of it now? Fascinating. Next we have BD, B-I-D-I. It is a noun from circa 1885. A small, hand-rolled, often flavored cigarette made chiefly in India. This is Hindi and Urdu word, biri, B-I-R-I. There's a dot below the R, I think, and lines over the I's. It is a hand-rolled cigarette with a leaf wrapper. Isn't that similar to a cigar? Maybe it's just a small cigar. Maybe it's a different kind of leaf. I don't know. Now we have the last word for this episode. This one is an interesting word. It is I said it right before. Bidialectalism. Bidialectalism. B-I-D-I-A-L-E-C-T-A-L-I-S-M. Bidialectalism. Bidialectalism. Oh boy. Noun from 1958. Facility in using 2 dialects of the same language. Also, the teaching of standard English to pupils who normally use a non-standard dialect. Bidialectal is an adjective. What is the word of the episode? Well, we have to pick bidet as the word of the episode. I mean, come on, right? Okay. That's all I got for you today. Thank you very much for listening. Please rate my podcast on whatever platform you're using and review it. Write that review. It helps get this out. Just today, the day that I'm recording this, obviously, I was thinking I really want to get back into having guests. So I've invited a couple of people. We still need to schedule them, but hopefully soon you will actually be hearing other voices on this podcast. I want to make it a regular thing, not every episode, but I think at least once, if not 4 times a month or more, would be nice to have guests. So thank you very much for listening. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to this episode of the podcast called The Dictionary. I don't know what is happening with my voice right now. Okay, the first word is bidirectional. B-I-D-I-R-E-C-T-I-O-N-A-L. It is an adjective from 1928 involving moving or taking place in 2 usually opposite directions. Like, if a train leaves station A at going, that is a sign that I need to move on. So we have an example, bidirectional flow. Also, another example, bidirectional replication of DNA. Bidirectionally is an adverb. Now we have, this is a French word, so I will probably say it weird. Bidonville. Bidonville. B-I-D-O-N-V-I-L-L-E. It is a noun from 1952. A settlement of jerry-built dwellings on the outskirts of a city, as in France or North Africa. Jerry-built, by the way, is Jerry. It's reminding me when you sort of throw something together. What do you call it? Like jerry-rigged or something? I don't know if those are related. So I'm guessing these are maybe not very well-built dwellings. That's just what I'm gathering from this. This is French from bidon, which means metal can or drum, plus ville, which means city. The picture in my mind I'm getting is like in South Africa. Oh, what's that movie? District 9, the sci-fi movie. There's this very, they've got such class issues with apartheid and everything. There's the whole section of this city that is, metal walls and terrible living conditions. So that's sort of the idea that I get from bidonville. Moving on to bid up. 2 words. Transitive verb from 1864. To raise the price of, as property at auction, by a succession of offers. You can only bid up. You can't bid down. Next we have BIE, all caps, abbreviation for Bachelor of Industrial Engineering. Next we have Biedermeier. Biedermeier, capital Biedermeier. Or no, actually, it's Biedermeier. I don't know why I read that wrong. This is an adjective from 1905 of a style of unostentatious furniture and interior decoration popular especially with the middle class in early 19th century Germany. This is from Gottlieb Biedermeier, who is, it's a satirical name for an uninspired German bourgeois. So it's a fake name, I guess. Now we have biennial. It is an adjective from 1562. 1, occurring every 2 years. Number 2, continuing or lasting for 2 years. Specifically, growing vegetatively during the first year and fruiting and dying during the second. Usage says see the prefix bi. Biennial is also a noun, and biennially is an adverb. Now we have biennium. It is a noun from 1899, a period of 2 years. Okay, next we have beer, or is it burr? It looks like beer. The pronunciation guide doesn't have a long E sound. B-I-E-R. It is a noun from before the 12th century. 1 is archaic. A framework for carrying. Number 2, a stand on which a corpse or coffin is placed. Also, a coffin together with its stand. Had no idea that was called a bier. This is from Middle English, bear, B-E-R-E, from Old English, bear, akin to the Old English bearan, which means to carry, and there's more at the word bear, B-E-A-R. Next we have biface. It's the word face with bi at the front. It is a noun from 1934, a bifacial stone tool. What is bifacial? It is our next word. It is an adjective from circa 1847, having opposite sides or faces worked on to form an edge for cutting or scraping. Bifacially is an adverb. Next we have biff. It is a noun from circa 1887, and it is the name of the villain in the Back to the Future movies. No, I mean it is, but that's not what it says here. We just have the synonyms whack and blow. Biff is also a transitive verb. Now we have bifid, B-I-F-I-D, adjective from 1661, divided into 2 equal lobes or parts by a median cleft, as in a bifid leaf. This is from Latin bifidus, or bifidus probably, from bi plus fidus, which means fid, where it's a suffix fid. Next we have bifilar, bifilar, B-I-F-I-L-A-R, adverb adjective from 1846. 1. Involving two threads or wires, as in bifilar suspension of a pendulum. Number 2. Involving a single thread or wire doubled back upon itself, as in a bifilar resistor. Bifilarly is an adverb. Who uses this word? I don't know. Let's see. This is from bi plus the Latin phylum, which means thread, and there's more at the word file, F-I-L-E. Next, we have biflagellate or biflagellate. It is an adjective from 1856, having two flagella, as in now I can't even say the word. Biflagellate gametes. Biflagellate gametes. That's the example. Next, we have bifocal. It is the first form, adjective from 1888. 1. Having two focal lengths. Number 2. Having one part that corrects for near vision and one for distant vision, as in a bifocal eyeglass lens. I do not have bifocal eyeglass lenses. I do have glass lenses. Recently we had, what are these things called on my face? Why am I blanking on the word? Bespectacled, that was the word. So I don't have bifocals, but eventually one day I'm sure I will have bifocals. Maybe even trifocals. That's a good goal to strive for. Trifocals. Next, we have the second form of bifocal. It is a noun from 1899. One is plural, so bifocals. Eyeglasses with bifocal lenses. Number 2, a bifocal glass or lens. Next is bifold, adjective from 1929, designed to fold twice, as in bifold doors, also as in a bifold wallet. Next is bifunctional. It is an adjective from 1929, having two functions, especially the synonym difunctional. So di can sometimes also mean two. And now we have the last word for this episode. It is bifurcate or bifurcate. No, maybe it's just bifurcate. B-I-F-U-R-C-A-T-E. Verb from 1615. To cause, to divide into two branches or parts. That was the transitive definition. Now we have the intransitive definition. To divide into two branches or parts. Bifurcate is pronounced a few ways. That is an adjective. This is from Middle Latin bifurcatus, which is from the verb bifurcare, which is from the Latin word bifurcus, which means two-pronged, which is from the bi prefix plus furca, which means fork. So the first example I can think of would be a snake's tongue, or maybe other lizards or reptiles have those similar tongues where the end is forked. There have been some humans who have decided to bifurcate their tongue because the tongue is made up of two muscles, and so basically they have a doctor cut the muscles apart from each other, and so they can move the two muscles sort of independently, like a reptile's tongue. I'm not going to do that. So that was it for all the words. Let us pick. Let's pick bidonville as the word of the episode because it's a fun word to say. It's from another language. It took some special brain power to say it correctly. And it also sounds like, sometimes, if I'm reading this correctly, oftentimes maybe there are people who are living there who are, of a lower class, to put it in an easy way. And, maybe they could use some help. Maybe that. I don't know. It's hard. I struggle when I'm talking about something that is either political or whatever, because I'm not a word wizard. I'm not, I don't have the best vocabulary. I have good intentions, but I'm not always sure what exactly to say. So, I want to bring some attention to groups of people who might be living in bidonvilles. That is it. I'm going to stop talking because I will get myself in trouble probably somehow. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to this episode of the podcast called The Dictionary. I actually have scheduled two people to be on at least one episode together. So I will be recording that in less than a week from the day that I'm recording this. And so in the relatively near future, you will hear some guests. I also talked to somebody else who said that he would be interested in, and I'm slowly putting out some feelers. If you know anybody who would like to be a guest, or if you would like to be a guest, let me know, and maybe we can work that out. All right, the first word for this episode is bifurcation, bifurcation. It is a noun from 1615. 1a, the point at which bifurcating occurs. 1b, synonym is branch. Number 2, the act of bifurcating, the state of being bifurcated. Now we have the word big. It's a big one. It is the first form. It is an adjective from the 14th century. 1a is obsolete, of great strength. I need to move the book a little bit closer. Oh, we are at the top of page 120, by the way. 1b, of great force. Synonym, as in a big storm. 2a, large or great in dimensions, bulk, or extent, as in a big house. Also, large or great in quantity, number, or amount, as in a big fleet. 2b, operating on a large scale, as in big government. 2c, we have the number one definition for the word capital. 3a, synonym is pregnant. I may have mentioned this before, but I have to say it again. There is a absolutely hilarious video where somebody went to like Yahoo Answers or something and found all these examples of people asking about being pregnant, how would you know if you're pregnant, etc. And then he just says them. He shows a picture of them and then he says the question. But they misspelled pregnant in all these different possible ways that you would not even believe that people could mispronounce it. I'm gonna have to put a link to this. And he says them as they are spelled, and it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I know I've mentioned this before somewhere. And it's the only thing that just makes me laugh every single time I watch it. Moving on. Okay, so the synonym is pregnant, especially nearly ready to give birth. 3b, full to bursting. Synonym is swelling, as in big with rage. 3c, in italics it says of the voice. So we're talking about the voice. Full and resonant. I don't think I have one of those voices. I want one, though. 4a, synonyms are chief and preeminent, as in the big issue of the campaign. 4b, outstandingly worthy or able, as in a truly big man. 4c, of great importance or significance, as in the big moment. What is the big moment? It could be so many things. 4d, synonyms are imposing and pretentious. Also, marked by or given to boasting, as in big talk. That reminds me of the movie Big Fish. 4e, synonyms are magnanimous and generous, as in was big about it. Number 5, synonym is popular, as in soft drinks are very big in Mexico. And that is a quote from Russ Liederbrand. Number 6, full-bodied and flavorful, and it is used of wine. Bigly is an adverb and a word that I do not like saying because of connotations to somebody else or connections to somebody else. Bigness is a noun. Big on is a phrase strongly favoring or liking, also noted for, as in she is big on blushing. That is a quote from Arnold Hano, or Hano, Hano. So this is Middle English, perhaps of the Scandinavian origin, akin to the Norwegian dialect word bug, B-U-G-G-E, which means important man. Why not important woman? All right. Sorry, I have the belches. I was just drinking a little cider, so it's carbonated. Bad idea, Spencer. Don't do that again. Now we have the second form of big. It is an adverb from 1556. 1. In a loud or declamatory manner. Declamatory. Also, in a boasting manner, as in talk big. 2a. To a large amount or extent, as in one big. One is WON, like you won the lottery. 2b. On a large scale, as in think big. 3. Synonym is hard, as in hits her forehand big. I assume that's talking about tennis or related sports. So do people say hits her forehand big? Okay. Now we have the third form of big. It is a noun from 1833, an individual or organization of outstanding importance or power, especially the synonym major league. This is used usually in plural, as in playing in the bigs. Moving on to bigamous. BIGAMOUS. It is an adjective from 1671. 1. Guilty of bigamy, as in a bigamous man. 2. Involving bigamy, as in a bigamous marriage. Don't worry, bigamy is the next word. Bigamously is an adverb, and spoiler alert, it's not good. All of this is not good. So here we have bigamy, BIGAMY. It is a noun from the 14th century, the act of entering into a marriage with one person while still legally married to another. Bigamist is a noun. The etymology isn't terribly interesting. Moving on to bigarade. Bigarade, I think that's how it's pronounced. BIGARADE. It is a noun from 1658. 1. Synonym is sour orange. Okay. 2. A brown sauce flavored with the juice and grated rind of oranges. This is French from the Occitan bigarato. I don't know how to say that word. Bigarato, which is from bigara, which means or which is to variegate or to variegate. Next, we have big band, 2 words, noun from 1917, a band that is larger than a combo and that usually features a mixture of ensemble playing and solo improvisation typical of jazz or swing. I have actually been in big bands, junior high and high school, and a little bit in college. I played a big saxophone. I think I've said this before, probably. I was not so good with the improvisation, but I really, really loved being in those bands and playing that music, and it was great. All right, next we have Big Bang. There should be a big band about the Big Bang or called Big Bang. I don't know, bad joke. Noun from 1950, the cosmic explosion that marked the beginning of the universe according to the Big Bang Theory. Compare to the synonym Big Crunch, which we'll see that in the next episode, but that is basically the opposite. I could talk a long time about the Big Bang and the Big Crunch, but I'm not going to. It's kind of sad that it's such a big part of our life and what a lot of people think about all the time. And obviously it's like the start of the universe, and it just has these 2 little lines in the dictionary, and I don't really have time to spend talking about it. But, it's the Big Bang. All right, now we have the Big Bang Theory. This is a noun from 1855. A theory in astronomy. Side note, a theory in science, for those who don't know, basically means it's a fact. There is enough evidence to say that it is true. They've done all of the experiments and everything, and they've tested. It doesn't mean, just like theory of evolution, it doesn't mean that, it's just a theory, people think that it's true. No. In science, the definition of a theory means this is, for all intents and purposes, a true fact. A hypothesis, on the other hand, is different. Okay, so this is a theory in astronomy. The universe originated billions of years ago in an explosion from a single point of nearly infinite energy density, compared to the steady state theory. Now, I don't really know what that is, because that is also a theory. I'm going to have to look more into that. But so I'm glad that now we have a few more lines describing the Big Bang theory. But yeah, it's still a big part of our lives. Moving on to Big Beat. Beat is B-E-A-T. It is 2 words, noun from 1957. Music, as rock, characterized by a heavy, persistent beat. Next, we have Big Ben, 2 words. Both of the B's are capitalized. This is a noun from 1859. 1. A large bell in the clock tower of the Houses of Parliament in London. Number 2. The tower that houses Big Ben. Also, the clock in the tower. So technically, as I read, it's the large bell that's Big Ben, but people also do call the tower and the clock, the whole thing, Big Ben. This is from Sir Benjamin Hall, who died in 1867, was an English Chief Commissioner of Works. I've seen Big Ben, not the actual bell, but I've been to London, luckily enough. I've had the opportunity to do that, and so I've seen it from a distance. I've got pictures of it that I took with my own face and hands. Now we have Big Blue Stem. Big is 1 word, blue stem is another word. It is a noun from 1887, and we have the number 1 definition for the word blue stem. Not going to get to that for a little while. Next we have Big Box, 2 words with a hyphen. It is an adjective from 1990 of relating to or being a large chain store having a box-like structure. Big Box without a hyphen is a noun. And now we have the last word for this episode. It is Big Boy, B-I-G, second word, B-O-Y, noun from 1916. We just have the synonym Big Gun, and this is usually used in plural. So, big boys. Oh, you're going to bring out the big boys? It's a knife fight, not a gunfight. All right, what is going to be the word of the episode? Well, I have to pick either Big Bang or Big Bang Theory. I'm just going to pick Big Bang as the word of the episode because it's the friggin' Big Bang, man. Okay, that is it. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the podcast called The Dictionary. There is currently a cat sitting on my lap, so hopefully she doesn't make this difficult. We are going to start today with Big Brother. B-I-G, second word, B-R-O-T-H-E-R, noun from 1809. 1. An older brother. Number 2. A man who serves as a companion, father figure, and role model for a boy. I mean, it could be for a girl too, right? Number 3. Let's see. This one is both of the B's are capitalized, and there's some specific etymology for this version, which we will get to. It is from 1949. That's part of the etymology. Okay, so 3A, the leader of an authoritarian state or movement. You can probably see where this is going. 3B, an all-powerful government or organization monitoring and directing people's actions. So this is from Big Brother, the personification of the power of the state, in the book 1984, which came out in 1949, and that was by George Orwell. The cat has left the premises. That was me just moving my chair forward a little bit. Okay, now we have Big Brotherism. 2 words, the B's are capitalized. Noun from 1950. Authoritarian attempts at complete control, as of a person or a nation. Now we have Big Brown Bat. Yep, that's what it is. 3 words, noun from 1898. An insectivorous, medium-sized bat having brownish fur that is found from southern Canada to northern South America and that often roosts in buildings. The scientific name is Eptesicus. What is that? Fuscus or Fuscus. Now we have Big Buck. 2 words, noun from 1941. A large sum of money. This is usually used in plural, as in, signed a contract for big bucks. Next is big business, 2 words. Looks like there's actually an extra space in between the 2 words. Hey, dictionary, looks like you made a mistake. Actually, there's a lot of extra spaces, so they probably did that. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but there's left justified and right justified and all that. So the columns are both left justified and right justified, so they actually adjust the amount of spacing to make the right sides end up at the same spot. So that's why it looks like there's some extra spacing here. So this is a noun from 1905. We're talking about big business. 1, an economic group consisting of large profit-making corporations, especially with regard to their influence on social or political policy. Number 2, a very profitable enterprise. Now we have big C. The C is just the letter C. It's capitalized, but often the B in big is capitalized too. This is a noun from 1964, and we have the number 2 definition for the word cancer. Yep, that's a thing. People call it the big C. Now we have big cheese, 2 words, noun from 1912. Synonyms are boss and big gun. Now we have big crunch, 2 words, noun from 1977. A hypothetical cosmological event in which all matter in the universe collapses to a singularity and which is posited to be a possible fate of the universe if the density of matter in if the density of matter in it is sufficiently high. Compare to the Big Bang. So the Big Bang, as we learned in the last episode, was where everything came from that singular point and exploded out. And then the other idea, or the idea of the possible end of the universe, is where everything comes back together again. There is a lot of evidence that this will not happen, actually. They think that the rate of acceleration, where the universe is expanding, galaxies are getting further and further away from each other, and they think that there is too much energy to make things come back together again. So we don't think the big crunch will happen, but it's totally possible that there was a previous Big Bang and then another big crunch before our Big Bang. So who knows what's going to happen next? I don't think any of us will be around to see it. Now we have Big Daddy, 2 words, noun from 1881. 1, preeminent, especially by reason of power, size, or seniority. 1, representing paternalistic authority. I wouldn't have thought that they would have used the phrase Big Daddy in 1881. Now we have Big Data, 2 words, noun from 1980. An accumulation of data that is too large and complex for processing by traditional database management tools. Next is Big Deal, 2 words, noun from 1915. I should have said this is the episode of the word big, although the last episode would have been as well. So big deal, something of special importance, as in, what's the big deal? There are so many things that are the big deal. This is sometimes used ironically as an interjection. Next, we have Big Dipper, 2 words. The B and the D are capitalized. Noun from 1853. The 7 principal stars in the constellation of Ursa Major. I'm sure all of you, at least in the northern hemisphere, know what the Big Dipper is. Probably in the southern hemisphere too. Next is, this is a slightly different word, bigeminy. B-I-G-E-M-I-N-Y. It is a noun from circa 1923, the state of having a pulse characterized by 2 beats close together with a pause following each pair of beats. So this is, bigeminal is an adjective. This is from the word bigeminal, which means double or paired, from the Latin bigeminus, which is from the bi prefix plus geminis, which means twin. State of having a pulse characterized by 2 beats close together with a pulse following each pair. So beat, beat, pause, beat, pause. Is that what they're saying? Next, we have big eye, one word, noun from 1861. Any of several small, widely distributed, reddish to silvery, bony fishes of tropical seas. The genus name is Priacanthus of the family Priacanthidae. Next is big eye tuna, two words, noun from 1944. A large-eyed tuna that has long pectoral fins and often a bluish stripe on the side and is found in warm ocean waters worldwide. The scientific name is Thunus obesus. Thunnus, obesus, obesus. Next we have, this is a good one, Bigfoot, one word, noun from 1958. One synonym is just Sasquatch. And it says this is from the size of the footprints ascribed to it. They got some big feet. Number 2, synonym is big shot. Next we have big game, two words, noun from 1773. 1, relatively large animals sought or taken by hunting or fishing, especially for sport. Number 2, an important objective, especially when involving risk. Next we have biggity, biggety, or biggity. This is an adjective from 1880. 1, this is Southern and Midland. Synonyms are conceited and vain. Number 2 is also Southern and Midland. Rudely self-important. Synonym is impudent, as in never acted biggity in court, but she would bow her head only so low. That is a quote from Claude Brown. Next we have biggie, noun from circa 1926, one that is big and often important. Next we have biggin, biggin, or you could throw a G at the end, bigging maybe. This is the first form of 2, and the second one is going to be the last one of this episode, biggin. It is a noun from the 14th century. First one is archaic. We just have the synonym building. This is from Middle English biggin, which means to dwell, from the Old Norse byggja, which is akin to the Old English bion, which means to be. So now we have the second form of biggin, noun from 1511. It is archaic. What is this saying? Oh, the synonym is the word cap. C-A-P, like you wear the thing on your head. It's biggin. And then, so that's the main definition, I guess. And then we have a child's cap. Or B, the synonym is nightcap. I think they mean that is like the thing that people used to wear on their head when they went to bed, not the thing that they would drink before they would go to bed. So that is all the words. There was a lot of really good ones in here. I'm going to pick, I think, the one that is my favorite. I'll pick Bigfoot. I think I picked Big Bang in the last one, so I was thinking about doing Big Crunch, but I'm going to do Bigfoot in this episode. Do you think Bigfoot exists in any part of the world? Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, abominable snowman, that sort of stuff. What do you think? I think probably not, but it's fun to imagine. Anyway, that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you for listening. Go rate and review the ratings and reviewings. No, that's not how you say that. The ratings and the reviews really do help get more exposure for things like this, weird, silly things. And, I think the people should know. And if you're a new listener, you should go start at the beginning. We're a lot of episodes into this, and we got a lot of episodes to go. What else? If you want to throw me a few bucks, you can join my Patreon. Information is in the episode description. And that's all the stuff. Thank you. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of The Dictionary. We are almost at the end of May. That's a thing that is happening. What will happen come June 1st? Probably nothing new. First word is biggish, B-I-G-G-I-S-H. It is an adjective from 1611, somewhat big. You could also just say medium, maybe. Biggish. Next is big gun, two words, noun from 1830. 1, having preeminent status or power in a field. Next is big hair. 2 words, noun from 1966. Hair that is styled and teased to occupy an unusually large amount of space above and around the head. When I let my hair grow out, I sort of have big hair. I have biggish hair. Next is big head. 1 word, noun from 1784. 1. Any of several diseases of animals marked by swelling around the head. Number 2. An exaggerated opinion of one's importance. Usually used with the word the. They got a big head. Big-headed is an adjective. That's it for that one. Next is big-hearted. 1 word. It's like your heart, the muscle in your chest that's pumping the blood. Big-hearted. Adjective from 1846. Synonyms are generous and charitable. Big-heartedly is an adverb, and big-heartedness is a noun. Next is bighorn sheep. 2 words. Bighorn is 1 word. Noun from 1817. A usually grayish-brown wild sheep of mountainous and desert regions of western North America, called also just bighorn. And then there's a picture of a bighorn sheep. It's a black and white drawing. It's you can't tell the color, but it does have some big horns. Next is big house. 2 words. It is a noun from 1913. It is slang for the synonym penitentiary, however you want to say it. I think there might be a sneeze. Next, we have the word bite, B-I-G-H-T. It is not like chomp chomp, B-I-T-E. This is a noun from the 15th century. 1. A bend in a coast forming an open bay. Also, a bay formed by such a bend. Number 2. A slack part or loop in a rope. This is from the Old English bite, B-I-H-T, which means bend or bay. That is akin to the Old English bugan, which means to bend. And there's more at the word bow or bow, probably bow, B-O-W. I really want to hear Old English spoken because especially like bugan, and there's other words that end in like A-N. I'm very curious to hear what it sounds like to be spoken that way. Next is big league. 2 words, noun from 1882. 1, the synonym is major league. Number 2, synonym is the number 2 definition for big time, which is going to be at the next episode. Big time. That is often used in plural. Big league is an adjective, and big leaguer is a noun. Next is big file? No, big lie. Wow, how did I misread that? That's because the G in the big league from the word above it is encroaching in on the space for the word lie, and it looked like file. But this is big lie, L-I-E, noun from 1824. A deliberate, gross distortion of the truth, used especially as a propaganda tactic. Next is big-mouthed. 1 word, adjective from 1602. 1, having a large mouth. Number 2, synonym is loud-mouthed. The first definition, having a large mouth, reminds me of a joke. A lot of people, I learned it as the largemouth frog. Other people say the big mouth frog, but that was a classic joke from when I was a kid, and I actually made a short animation of it as well when I was in college. Next is big name, 2 words, noun from 1881, a performer or personage of top rank in popular recognition, as in a big name in the business world. Big name with a hyphen is an adjective. Next we have bignonia, B-I-G-N-O-N-I-A. It is a noun from 1785, a woody evergreen vine, skip the parentheses, of the southern and central U.S. that has compound leaves and tubular flowers. Those tubulars are so What? Those flowers are so tubular, man. I do not know what I just said. This, let's see, the scientific name is Bignonia capreolata. of the family Bignoniaceae. The Bignonia, which is the Bignonia family. Well, yeah, you just told me it was the Bignonia. Okay, thank you. Next, we have bigot. This is not a good word. Noun from 1660. A person obstinate. Okay, this is a long definition, and there's no numbers. There's no 1, 2, a, whatever. Okay, so let's get into it. A person obstinately or intolerantly devoted to his or her own opinions and prejudices, especially one who regards or treats the members of a group as a radical or ethnic group with hatred and intolerance. Bigoted is an adjective. Bigotedly is kind of a hard word to say, and an adverb. This is from it's a French word, means hypocrite or bigot. So maybe they pronounced it bigot because usually they don't pronounce the T at the end. Not sure. I could spend a long time talking about this because this is sort of the epitome of what I think about a lot and the type of person that I don't like and the opposite of the type of person that I would like to be. And I can't understand how there are people who are bigots of any kind out there. There are other words as well that are similar, but this is sort of all-encompassing. If you've heard any or most of my other episodes, you sort of know where I stand on a lot of stuff. And so I'm sure you can understand this idea, this feeling of not treating others fairly or even, I mean, that's the best case scenario. Worst case is treating them with hatred and intolerance, and it gets my goat. Okay. On that note, let's say the word bigotry. It is a noun from 1632. Is that the tree where the bigots grow from? I'm sure I'm not the first to make that joke. 1. The state of mind of a bigot. 2. Acts or beliefs characteristic of a bigot. Okay, let's get away from the bad stuff, and we have a couple more. Next is big picture. 2 words, noun from 1904. The entire perspective on a situation or issue, used with the word the. Like some people can't see the big picture, but sometimes you need to both see the big picture and the small picture, the macro and the micro. I'm working towards that. It's all about balance. All right, I think we're going to do one more for this episode. It is big science. 2 words. I like seeing science. They're spelled the same, the normal way. Noun from 1914. Large-scale scientific research consisting of projects funded usually by a national government or group of governments. All right. What is the word of the episode? There's part of me that just wants to pick bigot because I feel like maybe more attention needs to be brought to that. If you feel like you... if any part of the definition I read rang true to maybe who you are in some way, maybe you need to rethink some things and think about why you feel that. And I'm not saying that you are wrong. I don't agree with that. I'm not saying you're wrong, but if there's anything about hatred and intolerance, just think about why. That's all. Just think about why. That's what I want to say. Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's pick that as the word of the episode. That is all I'm going to say for this episode. I hope you're doing well. Let's just be nice. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the podcast called The Dictionary. I'll say this right off the bat in the front. Please go rate and review and share. Let all the people know that some weirdo is doing a podcast where he reads the dictionary. I actually have some people almost scheduled to be guests that I'm going to make a very strong effort at making that a regular thing so this can be more interesting. I hope it's more interesting. I know there's some people out there who just want the words. So you know what? Let's give that to them. Okay. The first word is big screen. 2 words, noun from 1914. The motion picture medium often as contrasted to television, as in a story adapted for the big screen. Big screen with a hyphen is an adjective. Have you ever noticed that? Sometimes they'll put in a hyphen and sometimes they won't, or the adjective verb version will or will not or whatever. I wonder if there are rules. If it's an adjective, it has to have a hyphen. If the original was just 2 words, I don't know. Next is big shot, 2 words, noun from 1929, a person of consequence or prominence. Next is big stick, 2 words, noun from 1893, threat especially of military or political intervention. Walk softly and carry a big stick. I wonder if he was the first one to use that. Was that, 1893? I don't remember when he said that. I think it was early 20th century, so somebody else invented it. Next, we have big ticket, with a hyphen, adjective from 1945, having a high price, as in, the car was a big ticket item. Next is big time, with a hyphen, first form, adjective from 1910, relating to or involved in the big time, as in, big time sports. Also, the number 4 definition for the word major, as in, big time operators. Now we have the second form of big time, also with a hyphen, adverb from 1957, in a major or large-scale way, as in, the new show bombed big time. Also, to a great extent or degree, as in, owes me big time. Now we have big time with no hyphen. It is a noun from 1910. 1. A high-paying vaudeville circuit requiring only 2 performances a day. Number 2, the top rank of an activity or enterprise. Big timer is a noun. Next we have big toe, 2 words, noun from 1699. The innermost and largest toe of the foot. Did not think that would be in here, but I guess, now that you mentioned it. So are we going to see like small toe or pinky toe or middle toe or ring toe or whatever? Or just big toe? I have a story with big toe. We were celebrating Thanksgiving. Let's see if I can do a short story. The younger versions, or the younger group of us, we were probably in our teens or late teens, early 20s, and part of the floor was very slippery, so we were running along and sliding, and it was fun until I went to go slide, and I didn't slide and fall or hurt myself. Instead, my toe hit the threshold of the door of the room that we were running from, and I busted up the toenail, and then people called me Big Toe after that. Next, we have big top, 2 words, noun from 1763. 1, the main tent of a circus. Number 2, the 2A and B and C definitions of the word circus. Next, we have big tree, 2 words, noun from 1853, and we have the synonym giant sequoia. Now we have big wheel, 2 words, noun from 1942. Synonyms are big wig and big shot. And I think we read big shot before. Next is big wig. Hey, look at that. They're together. 1 word, noun from 1703, an important person. Next is Bihari, capital Bihari. It is a noun from 1878. 1A, a native or inhabitant of Bihar. 1B, a Muslim born in Bihar who emigrated after the partition of India in 1947. Also, a descendant of such a person. I don't know anything about these people. Number 2, a group of Indo-Aryan languages, as Bhojpuri, spoken in Bihar, India, and I think it's just Bihar, India, and adjacent areas. Not Bihar, India. It could be, not sure. I don't know where it is. Next, we have bijection. It's like ejection, but with a bi. Noun from 1956, a mathematical function that is a one-to-one and onto mapping. I don't know what that means. Compared to the words injection and surjection. Bijective is an adjective. Next, we have bijou, bijou. It is a noun from 1668. 1, a small, dainty, usually ornamental piece of delicate workmanship. A synonym is jewel. 2, something delicate, elegant, or highly prized. Bijou is also an adjective. This is a French word from the Bret. What is that abbreviation? Hold on. B-R-E-T. Breton. Oh, I think it's like British, but it's related, but it's not the same. I honestly am not entirely sure. So this is from the Breton word bisou, B-I-Z-O-U, which means ring, from biz, which means finger. Okay. Next we have bougerie, or bougerie. No. Bijouterie. Wow, I really screwed that up. Bijouterie. B-I-J-O-U-T-E-R-I-E. It is a noun from 1735. A collection of trinkets or ornaments. Synonym is jewels. Also the synonym decoration. Next we have the first form of the word bike. B-I-K-E. It is a noun from the 14th century. One is chiefly Scottish. A nest of wild bees, wasps, or hornets. Not what I was expecting. Number two, also chiefly Scottish. A crowd or swarm of people. Now we have the second form of bike. It is a noun from 1880. Number one, synonym is bicycle. Number two, synonym is motorcycle. Number three, synonym is motorbike. And number four, synonym is stationary bike. My friend and I taught ourselves how to ride unicycles, and we realized you could shorten bicycle to bike and tricycle to trike, but there was no shortened version of unicycle, and so we just started calling it yunk, just like U-N-K, yunk. That was the only thing we could think of. So sometimes if we're talking about it, I'll still use that. Next is the third form of bike. It is a verb from 1885. It is intransitive and it means to ride a bike. Next is biker with an R, noun from 1883. Number one, synonym is bicyclist. Number two, synonym is motorcyclist, especially one who is a member of an organized club or gang. Biker. I love seeing things like that, it written in such a proper, standard way in a book called the dictionary. The juxtaposition of those two ideas is just funny to me. Next is bike way. It is a one-word noun from 1895, a thoroughfare for bicycles. Next is bikey, B-I-K-I-E. It is a noun from 1967, and we have the number two definition for the word. I feel like I'm losing my place. The number two definition for the word a biker, that's the one who's a part of an organized club or gang. Bikey. That is weird to me. Next is bikini, noun from 1947. 1A, a woman's scanty two-piece bathing suit. They use the word scanty? Okay. 1B, a man's brief swimsuit. Like, briefs. A man's brief swimsuit. Number two, a man or woman's low-cut briefs. Bikinied. So bikinied is an adjective, or you could spell it B-I-K-I-N-I''D. So if you wanted to know where the word bikini comes from, it is a French word from bikini, which is an atoll, A-T-O-L-L, of the Marshall Islands. I think that's like one of the islands or a portion of the islands or something. But yeah, that's the word bikini. Next is bikini wax. It is a noun from 1973. A procedure for removing pubic hair from the skin near the edge of the bottom half of a bikini by applying hot wax, covering the wax with a cloth to which the wax and hair adhere, and then peeling it off quickly. I'm sort of surprised that they actually described every step of the process. Interesting. Now we have bill, B-I-L. It is an abbreviation for billion. $1 billion. Next is the first form of the word bilabial. It is an adjective from 1878. In italics, it says of a consonant. I think that's when you're speaking, because the definition is produced with both lips. So what would that be? The word B, the letter B, the letter P, and then there's more probably. We are going to move on to the second form of bilabial. It is a noun from 1829, and it just says a bilabial consonant. So a consonant could be bilabial as an adjective, or it could be a noun. It is the consonant. That's bilabial. Next, we have bilabiate. It is an adjective from 1720, having two lips, as in a bilabiate corolla. Don't know what a corolla is. All I know is the car, but I know it's something else. Let's see. We have the last word now. It is bilateral. Bilateral. It is an adjective from 1751. Sorry if my mouth is getting a little dry, but we're almost done. 1. Affecting reciprocally two nations or parties, as in a bilateral treaty. Also as in a bilateral trade agreement. Number 2. Having two sides. 3a. Of relating to or affecting the right and left sides of the body, or the right and left members of paired organs, like the kidneys. As in bilateral nephrectomy. Sorry, the last syllable went on to the next page, not just the next line, but the next page, and went from the bottom of the column all the way to the top. So I had very far to move my eyes. Nephrectomy. If you couldn't tell, we are at the top of the next page. It is 121. So now we have the 3B definition, having bilateral symmetry. Bilateralism is a noun, and bilaterally is an adverb. And now we have to pick a word. I think I will just pick big toe as the word of the episode. That is it. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the podcast called The Dictionary. Let's talk about some words. I haven't been doing as much extra chatting recently, in at least in the beginning and the ends of the episodes, just because I don't know if you care to hear that, but maybe I'll talk a little bit at the end. Okay, the first word is bilateral symmetry. Bilateral. Second word, symmmetry. It is a noun from 1860, symmetry, in which similar anatomical parts are arranged on opposite sides of a median axis so that only one plane can divide the individual into essentially identical halves. There's an L in there, halves. I think, if I'm understanding it correctly, humans would be in a bilateral symmetrical way. Most animals probably are. All right, next we have bilayer. It is a noun from 1963, a film or membrane with two molecular layers, as in a bilayer of phospholipid molecules. Bilayer is also an adjective. Couldn't they have given me an example with an easier word to say? Next we have bilberry, B-I-L, then the word berry, one word. Noun from 1577. 1. Any of several ericaceous shrubs that resemble blueberries but have flowers which arise solitary or in very small clusters from axillary, not auxiliary, axillary buds, especially a Eurasian shrub. Let's see, the genus name for this is Vaccinium or Vaccinium, and then the scientific name for this Eurasian shrub is Vaccinium myrtilis. Number 2, the sweet edible fruit of the bilberry. Also, an extract of this fruit used in medicine. I have been learning about so many new berries and fruits and vegetables from reading this book. It's crazy. I'm sure I will not remember most of them, but one of them, I just posted a picture on Instagram today. It was the beetle pepper. I mean, that was a bunch of episodes ago. But yeah, it's so interesting. So much to learn. Now we have the word bilbo, B-I-L-B-O. It is the first form noun from 1557. A long bar of iron with sliding shackles used to confine the feet of prisoners, especially on shipboard. And this is from, or perhaps from, Bilboa, Spain, not Bilbo Baggins. Sorry. But we do have a second form of Bilbo. It is Bilbo or Bilboa. noun from 1565, and we just have the synonym sword, like the thing with the pointy end that you stick at people. This is from Bilboa or Bilbao, Spain. Is Bilboa part of Bilbao, or are they just two different spellings of the same thing? I don't know. Now we have bilby, B-I-L-B-Y, noun from 1888. Either of two burrowing nocturnal bandicoots having a long tapered muzzle and large pointed ears, called also rabbit-eared bandicoot. I think we read bandicoot back in the beginning of the bees. Let's see. This is what do we got here? We got a couple scientific names of these nocturnal bandicoots. One of them is Macrotis lagotis, and then the other one is Macrotis lucura, something like that. This is from an Australian Aboriginal language of northern. All right, let me backtrack. So this is from an Aboriginal word, bilby, with an I at the end. The language it's an Australian Aboriginal language of northern New South Wales, and the language is called, I hope I say this correctly, Yuwalarai. Yuwalarai. I am sure I did not pronounce it correctly. I've never heard of this language before, but I think it sounds awesome. Yuwalarai, something like that. All right, now we have, this is a fun one to say, Bildungs Roman. Bildungs Roman, a couple slightly different ways. It is spelled Bildungsroman. So to my brain, it looks like Bildungs Roman. Yeah. This is a noun from 1910, a novel about the moral and psychological growth of the main character. So this is German from Bildung, which means education, plus Roman or Roman, which means novel. So an educational novel, Bildungsroman. Please tell me how to pronounce this word, any of you German people out there. Now we have the word bile, B-I-L-E. It is a noun from 1547. 1A, either of two humors associated in old, wow, my brain did something weird there, in old physiology, is that the right word? Physiology with irascibility and melancholy. Sorry for these words. Either of two humors associated in old physiology with irascibility and melancholy. Irascibility is spelled I-R-A-S-C-I-B-I-L-I-T-Y. 1B, a yellow or greenish viscid or viscid alkaline fluid secreted by the liver and passed into the duodenum, where it aids especially in the emulsification and absorption of fats. As I mentioned recently, I think relatively recently, this is this is the liver, not the pancreas. Never mind. Okay. 2A, inclination to anger. 2B, synonyms are acrimony and vitriol. Okay, next we have bile acid, 2 words, noun from circa 1881, any of several steroid acids as cholic acid, of or derived from bile. Next is bile duct, 2 words. It's not a duck quack quack that has bile, it's D-U-C-T. Noun from 1774, a duct by which bile passes from the liver or gallbladder to the duodenum. Next we have bile salt, 2 words, noun from 1881. I don't think I want to put this on my food. Let's see what it says. Number 1, a salt of bile acid. Number 2 is plural, a dry mixture of the principal salts of the gall of the ox, used as a liver stimulant and as a laxative. Well, there you go. Now we have the word bi-level. It is the first form, adjective from 1960. 1, having 2 levels of freight or passenger space. like a bi-level train or plane or something like that. Number 2, having 2 floors with a ground level entry situated between the floors. Now we have the second form of bi-level. It is a noun from 1966, a bi-level house. Next, we have the word bilge, B-I-L-G-E. It is the first form, noun from 1513. 1, the bulging part of a cask or barrel. 2a, the part of the underwater body of a ship between the flat of the bottom and the vertical topsides. 2b, the lowest point of a ship's inner hull. Call that the bilge. Number 3, stale or worthless remarks or ideas. Pretty much everything I say that's not printed in this book. This is probably from the modified from the Middle French bouge or bouge, which means leather bag or curved part, and there's more at the word budget. Now we have the second form of bilge. It is a verb from 1728. Looks like it's only intransitive. To become damaged in the bilge. Now we have bilge keel. 2 words. Keel is K-E-E-L. Noun from 1850. A projection like a fin extending from the hull near the turn of the bilge on either side to check rolling. So this is related to that, the lowest part of the ship's inner hull. So I guess they sometimes will have some things projecting out from that area called the bilge keel. Now we have the last word for this episode. It is bilge water, 1 word, B-I-L-G-E, and then the normal water. Noun from 1706, water that collects in the bilge of a ship. What is the word of the episode? Just because it was an interesting word and a concept that I am not familiar with, I'm going to pick Bildungsroman, something like that, as the word of the episode. Bildungsroman. That is it for this episode. I have not talked about my podcasts for a while, like which ones I'm listening to. I don't remember where I left off. Might have been somewhere around here. Let's see. Doug Loves Movies. Doug Benson. I think this is his main podcast. It's just him and comedians. He has some movie games for them. The normal podcast, the normal episodes were where he and the guests would go to a club or a lounge or a bar or wherever, a stage of some kind, and there would be an audience, and audience members would bring in handmade name tags, usually kind of large and with items attached to them, and then the comedians would choose their name tag. That's the person that they're playing for, and then the winner would then get all the gifts that they brought. The winner, the comedian is the winner, and then the person that they chose their name tag, that is the winner. Anyway, now these days with quarantining and stuff, that is not possible. So he's just been doing these over, like a Zoom call or something like that. And it's just funny. They're funny people, and they talk about movies, and I think it's entertaining because I like comedy and I like movies. And so there you go. I would love to be a guest. I would do terrible. I would be terrible, but it would be a lot of fun. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to this brand new episode of the podcast. It's new today. It will be old tomorrow. The first word is bilharzia or bilharzia. Bilharzia. It is a noun from circa 1881. Number 1, we have a synonym which, what is this? Schizosomiasis. Is this really the word? Schizosomiasis, probably one of those, something like that. Schistosomiasis. Number 2, we have a similar synonym, schizosome. I don't know how to pronounce these words. Bilharzial is an adjective. So this is a genus name from Theodor Bilharz, who died in 1862. He was a German zoologist. Now I need to go look up these funky words. Now we have a similar word, bilharziasis. It is a noun from circa 1900, and we have the synonym, I think it's the same one as before, schistosomiasis. All right, enough of that nonsense. Next is biliary. Or, nope, it is biliary. Adjective from 1731, of relating to or conveying bile, also affecting the bile conveying structures. Next is bilinear. Adjective from 1886, linear with respect to each of two mathematical variables, specifically of or relating to an algebraic form, each term of which involves one variable to the first degree from which of two sets of variables. Huh? Okay. You math nerds know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, yeah. Next is bilingual. It is an adjective from 1829. One, having or expressed in two languages, as in a bilingual document. Also as in an officially bilingual nation. Number 2, using or able to use two languages, especially with equal fluency, as in bilingual in English and Japanese. Number 3, of or relating to bilingual education. Bilingual is a noun, and bilingually is an adverb. This is from the Latin bilinguis, which is from the bi prefix plus lingua, which means tongue, and there's more at the word tongue. I am not bilingual. I am barely single lingual. Just lingual, whatever. Next is bilingual education. 2 words, noun from 1972. Education in an English language school system in which students with little fluency in English are taught in both their native language and English. I think that's good. I think that people need to keep up their native language. I know there's a lot of people, I've heard stories of people who come to America or wherever they go, and they think, I want to be completely in the language and the culture of the where I've moved to. And I understand the reasoning for that, especially people coming to America decades ago. But there's a lot of language and culture that's lost. And, I think that people need to keep up their native languages and their cultures. And so, also at the same time, learning the language that's there, because if you don't, you're going to have a really, really hard time. So I think this is especially bad for Americans. I think a lot of people in Europe are taught 2-3 languages by the time they're 10 or younger, which I think is amazing. We could be better. Next is bilingualism. It is a noun from 1873. 1, the ability to speak 2 languages. Number 2, the frequent use, as by a community, of 2 languages. Number 3, the political or institutional recognition of 2 languages. Next, we have bilinguality. This one is a little bit different. Bilinguality, noun from 1930, and we have the synonym bilingualism. So I think that's just, well, it's not older, because bilingualism is from 1873. It's just doesn't get used as much. Next, we have bilious. I want to say bilious, but, that might be okay too. Bilious, adjective from 1541. 1a, of or relating to bile. Bile has reared its ugly head again. 1b, marked by or suffering from liver dysfunction and especially excessive secretion of bile. 1c, appearing as if affected by a bilious disorder. Number 2, of or indicative of a peevish, ill-natured disposition. Number 3, sickeningly unpleasant, as in, with clapboards painted red and bilious yellow. That is a quote from Sinclair Lewis. Biliously is an adverb, and biliousness is a noun. Next we have bilirubin. Bilirubin sounds like somebody's name. Bilirubin. It is a noun from 1871. A reddish yellow water insoluble. Oh, there should be a hyphen there, don't you think? A reddish yellow water insoluble pigment occurring especially in bile and blood and causing jaundice if accumulated in excess. Sounds bad. This is from Latin bilis plus ruber or ruber, which means red, and there's more at the word red. Next we have biliverdin. Biliverdin. I'm guessing this is related to green because I think verde is green in Spanish. Noun from 1845. A green pigment that occurs in bile and is an intermediate in the degradation of hemoglobin, heme groups to bilirubin. So there's green and there's red. This is Swiss, it looks like, from the Latin bilis plus the French verd, V-E-R-D, which means green. I'm guessing the French word for green probably comes from a Latin word for green, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Next is bilk, B-I-L-K, first form, verb from 1647. 1. To block the free development of. Synonym is frustrate, as in, fate bilks their hopes. 2a, to cheat out of something valuable. Synonym is defraud. 2b, to evade payment of or to, as in, bilks his creditors. 3, to slip away from, as in, bilked her pursuers. Bilker is a noun. Now we have the second form of bilk. It is a noun from 1790. An untrustworthy, tricky individual. Synonym is cheat. We are now on the last word for this episode. It is the word bill, B-I-L-L. It is the first form. We are going to move the other forms onto the next into the next episode. There is, I'm just giving you a heads up, there is a picture related to this that I will read at the end. I'm going to be explaining some things. So anyway, this is a noun from before the 12th century. 1, the jaws of a bird together with their horny covering. 2, a mouth part, as the beak of a turtle, that resembles a bird's bill. 3, the point of an anchor fluke. And then it says to see the anchor illustration. You remember that? 4, the visor of a cap or hood. So the picture I am going to describe is, 9 different birds and their bills. So I will say the bird and I will briefly describe the bill because they are all different, which is why they put them all in here. 1 is a spoonbill. Of course, you can look up pictures of these. Maybe I'll post pictures of these. The spoonbill has a very long bill. It sort of gets skinnier in the middle, and then it flares out again at the end like a spoon. It also looks pretty flat. Now we have the duck. 2 is the duck. Your standard duck bill. It's relatively short, but it goes out fairly straight from the bird's head. And, not super long, not super short, just the medium duck bill. Oh, there's a joke about a duck bill. 3 is parrot. So this bill basically goes straight down really fast. It's curved down. That's the top part. The bottom part of the bill curves up a little bit. It's a lot smaller than the top part, and the top part also has a pointy thing at the end. Now we have flamingo. These are fascinating because I recently heard that I think flamingos are one of, if not the only bird or maybe even just creature, or at least bird, where usually it's the lower jaw that moves, but it's actually their top jaw that moves because when they feed, they put their head in the water, and but their head is upside down. Flamingos are fascinating. Their heads are upside down, and so they move their top jaw to eat. Also, I think the things that they eat are the reason they have a pink coloring. It's like shrimp or things related to that, and their color comes from the food that they eat. So their bill because I described that it's upside down, it is basically upside down. The top part is smaller than the bottom part, but it's weird. It sort of goes straight out, but then both parts go straight down, kind of to a point. The ends are black, and that's a very weird bill. All right, now we have number 5. It's an eagle. It's sort of a combination between the duck and the parrot. It goes out a pretty good distance, but then it curves down to a point, and the lower jaw is much smaller and flatter, it looks like. Now we have number 6, the finch. Their bill just basically goes out to a point, not very far. It looks like a triangle. It's very small. And of course, the reason that all of these birds have the bills that they do is because of their environment, their habitat, and years of evolution, getting to a point that this is their environment, this is what they eat, and this is the best bill for that occasion. And I'm sure if you looked thousands of years in the future, maybe not even that long, all of these birds will probably have slightly different bills because their environment may have changed. Now we have number 7, pelican. This is a massive bill. It goes really far out from their head. The bottom part, I think, has that sort of flexible part because they often eat a lot of fish and they need a big bill to eat the fish. And that's what it is. It just goes straight out, and there's a little point at the end, but otherwise that's it. Now we have number 8, hummingbird. Hummingbirds have very long, skinny bills. Their tongue goes straight out from that. They use that bill to get it inside very small sections of flowers and things to get the nectar that's in there, and then they stick their tongue out. They also have little teeth, I think, in their bill. And then lastly, we have the ibis, I-B-I-S. I'm not super familiar with this bird, but their bill, it goes out, it sort of curves down gradually. It's very long, goes out very far from their head, and it curves down gradually to a point. That is it for this episode. That was a little long. I think I may just need to pick bilharzia as the word of the episode because it's related to animals, I think, and words that I don't know. So that is fascinating, and I might need to look more into that. That is it. Thank you for listening. And I think in a couple episodes, you will hear some new voices. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.